Well, I'll start off by saying we didn't do it on purpose. So if you go back to the 1700s, before the Industrial Revolution, the population of the world was about 500 million people. Today, we're approaching 8 billion people, and by 2050, it's going to be 10 billion people. All of those people have been able to be born and live healthy and productive lives because of what went on in the Industrial Revolution. So in 1712, a guy called Thomas Newcomen invented the first practical combustion engine. Back in those days, before the Industrial Revolution, the maximum amount of work you could do as a person was about 1 kilowatt hour. Average energy consumption today for most people is 60 kilowatt hours. So all that energy goes into, basically providing us our healthy, happy lives and all the things we eat, keeping us warm, letting us travel around. And that all happened because engineers invented the first engine. Without those engines, we wouldn't have had massive population expansion, and we'd still be living nice agricultural lives, I guess. If you think that most of our society as humans is built on fossil fuels, all the food we eat, all the energy we use, electricity we use, all the things that we build, the houses we build, and all cost energy and have a carbon cost. Up until very recently, most of those things have been entirely dependent on fossil fuels. And so since the Industrial Revolution, engineers have been finding ways to do things more efficiently and better and more cost effectively. But always using fossil fuels as like the underlying technology, even when it's not apparent. In the next 20 to 30 years, we're going to have to do all the same things again and solve all the same problems again, but without using fossil fuels. And that's a huge challenge. And that's something that can't be done without engineering simulation and lots of experimentation too. I don't think we're going to be able to meet our climate change goals in reducing carbon emissions without lots of innovation. And innovation only really happens these days as a consequence of simulation and test. You have ideas, you need to test them, you need to explore them, and you need to evolve them, basically. And so simulation tools like SimCenter are going to be crucial in engineering a future in which we solve problems we've already solved before, but we have to solve them, but this time without using fossil fuels or without releasing heaps of greenhouse gases. So I don't think we can achieve our climate change goals or carbon reductions without using extensive simulation and test. And I think SimCenter is one of the best products for doing that. So I describe myself as a reluctant environmentalist. Like most people, up until recently, I was flying around the world on holiday and on business trips, traveling to America 5 or 6 times a year, driving a big petrol sports car at the time and eating lots of meat, not worrying too much about energy consumption. But when you start reading about some of the consequences of climate change, you hear about people like Greta Thunberg, appealing for people of my generation to take things seriously. And you start reading around the topic and realizing what the actual consequences of our lifestyles are, then I think, like most people, I had to make a change. Now, it's not easy to make all those changes, and I haven't made all of those changes. But everything I do now, I consider the carbon emissions of, and I can try and change my behaviour a lot. So I've just bought an electric car, first new car I've ever owned. I take a lot less flights. I only go fly when it's absolutely essential. And I'm trying to eat lots of less meat as well. And I consider the energy consumption in my house every day. So I try and do the things that I can do. But I'm also obsessed by the idea of carbon emissions and reducing carbon emissions. As an engineer, I think it's a really interesting question. So it's something I'm really, really interested in, but not something that I do willingly because I think we have to do it.